Welcome viewers. As part of the studies, today we will be discussing about the different types of maps, various types of maps, and before going into the depth of that, I would like to say that we will be discussing about cadastral maps, topographical maps, atlas map, general maps. So, what is a map? If you want to define what is a map, it is a graphical representation of the earth, the complete earth or the whole earth or the part of the earth. We need to reduce this particular earth onto a piece of paper. So, we need to reduce this map. For example, when we speak about the smallest microorganism amoeba, we wanted to enlarge this microorganism to a visibility. So, the microorganisms will be enlarged and the major portions of the earth, the complete earth will be reduced. So, the graphical spatial database in the recent terms we call the complete total system. Earlier we used to call as a map. The map is defined as a graphical representation of the whole or part of the earth. Map abbreviate when we speak about it is the maintenance, analysis and program. What is maintenance means? We are going to use the symbolization and generalization to generate a map, and the data that we get to be presented on the map will be analyzed, and the same thing will be programmed or automated to generate a map with the help of GIS, Geographical Information System, Global Positioning System, as well as the satellite data, be it digital or be it manual. So, these are the sources of the data to be generated. The Survey of India topo sheets also helps us in generating the database for the map. Map, if you abbreviate, various people use this map. For example, aviation people use as missed approach point, and cardiology in the medicine they used as mean arterial pressure, and for defense people they use as multiple aim point. So, whatever may be the map that is being abbreviated by different people, now we will be using exclusively from the geographical point of view. A map, it is an area on the surface of the earth to be brought on a piece of paper or a cloth of paper. Map cannot be of the same size as that of the earth, so we need to reduce it. Likewise, there are n number of drawings that are not considered as map. For example, when we look at a graph, the point, line, bar graph and pie chart, these are all the tools that are being used for a map. They are independently cannot be considered as a map. Likewise, a chart, a navigational chart is a different part that is not considered as a map, but can be used as a chart. But navigational maps are also there, which are being used for navigational purpose. And we have diagram, the living things and the non-living things like amoeba, we draw it as a diagram, but we do not refer that with reference to the scale. And various machinery items, aeronautical machinery, automobile machinery, we draw the diagrams also, but they are not considered as maps. We use plans for buildings and offices, that is, if it is not true to scale, it is also not considered as map. A freehand drawing is also not a map. Notional drawings not to scale, which are not to scale, are also not considered as a map. Map is considered only which have prominent elements, 5 elements. Those are the scale, the north arrow, the latitudes and longitudes, the title and a legend. These are the 5 important elements that are embedded onto the map. Maybe they are available on the map, maybe they are not available on the map. For example, when we look at the latitudes and longitudes, which play a vital role in the presence of the map, but some of the maps may not be indicated with the latitudes and longitudes. Likewise, what is scale? As I said, scale is an important element of the map. It is the ratio between 2 points on the map to the 2 points on the ground. Scale is represented on the map in 3 different types. One is the statement scale, that is 1 centimeter is equal to 1 kilometer or 1 centimeter is equal to 1 mile, and the second one is ratio scale. We call it as 1:10,000 or 1:20,000 or 1:1 million. One unit on the left side represents so many units on the right side on the ground. For example, 1 centimeter on the map is equal to 1 kilometer. Likewise, there is another type of representation, that is the graphical scale embedded on the map, which shows the divisions. With this help of this, we can divide the scale into minute divisions and major divisions. So, if we want to know the distance of between two places, with the help of these two graphical scale, we can measure the distances between one point on the map to the other point on the map itself. And arrow is also very much important. All the maps will be oriented towards the North Pole. All the map, be it an Australian map which is in the southern hemisphere or any other map, whether it is in the northern hemisphere or in the southern hemisphere, all the map will be oriented towards the North Pole. And north, there are three different types of north, to be much more specific. One is the North Pole, the 0 degrees longitude as well as the 90 degrees latitude. That is the North Pole, wherein you can see it on the globe. The second one is the true north, that is the magnetic north. Magnetic north is, when you look at the compass, we can see that the magnetic north does not coincide with the true north. There is a variation of 2 degrees from the true north to that of the magnetic north. Their place is called as a Bothian land, wherein you can find n number of magnetic iron particles. So, the magnetic compass will representing the north as not the exact North Pole, but the Bothian land, which is 2 degrees deviated from the true north. The third one is the country north. For example, we in India, we consider the north to our country is Jammu and Kashmir. For example, for Telangana, it is Adilabad. That is the country north. So, these are the three different types of norths that are available in the geographical studies, and the whole true north is represented on all the maps. Even though if it is not represented on a map, it is deemed to be considered that the map is oriented towards North Pole only. And we have all the maps are referenced, geo-referenced. In other words, geo means earth and referenced with reference to latitudes and longitudes. These latitudes and longitudes are 90 degrees in the north and 90 degrees in the south, whereas we have 180 degrees east longitudes and 180 degrees west longitude. So, the map is with reference to this particular graticules of latitudes and longitudes. Each degree is again divided into minutes, and each minute is also again divided into seconds. So, for example, if you generate a map with georeference, if you want to place this on the world map, it will be exactly located at the place where it is required with reference to latitudes and longitudes. So, that is the importance of this particular latitudes and longitudes with reference to georeferencing part of view. And we have legend. Every map will have a legend. The details that are embedded in the map will be shown in the legend. The pictorial diagrams that are represented on the map will be explained in the legend in detail, and simultaneously every map will have a title, be it political map, topographical map, be it cadastral map, be it population map, be it forest map, be it geological map. Whatever may be the maps, all the maps will have a title. So, the prominent important elements of the map are the scale, the north arrow, the latitudes and longitudes, the title, the theme, as well as the legend. So, these are the prominent features. And when we see about various types of maps, how many types of maps are there? The categorization can be considered into four major classes. One is general maps versus specific map. When we speak about the general maps, the maps that are having all the features, for example, not only the geographical part, not only the elevation, we have roads, we have railways, we have water features, and when all these maps along with the administrative boundaries are kept on a map, then we call that particular map as general maps. And when we specifically say thematic maps, they are the maps which have a theme, which have a specific theme. For example, we have census maps or the population map or the soil maps or the geology maps, agriculture maps. These are the themes which we have. In population, we have different categories like literacy maps, SC/ST maps, economic maps, education maps, religion maps. Each particular theme they will be having. So, the general maps will have all the details, whereas specific maps will have a separate theme. The political maps are also considered as the general maps. The topographical maps are also considered as the general maps. This is one type of category. When we look into the other type of category, we have physical maps as well as cultural maps. The physical maps are the maps, the nature that has created all the physical features that are available on the surface of the earth are being mapped. Example, the elevations, the mountains, plains and plateaus, coastlines, natural waters, rivers, and all these things, when we generate a map, we call them as physical maps. The 3-dimension and elevation maps with the help of valleys and mountains are also considered as physical maps, wherein we can see the depth of the valleys and the elevation of the mountains peaks. So, these are the natural maps, the God created maps. These are the physical maps, including the coastlines, the fiat coastlines, the drainage pattern is also included in this physical map. When we speak about the cultural maps, all the maps wherein the data has been created by man, the data that is being created by man, they are called as cultural maps. Example, the population maps, the population count, the literacy, the cropping patterns, or we can even say the economic maps, the tourism maps or the navigational maps. All these are cultural maps. The data that is being generated by human beings are considered as cultural maps. Likewise, we have isoline maps also. In another category of different types of maps, we have isoline maps as well as choropleth maps. What are isoline maps? For example, when we look at the contour map, it is very much clear all the lines of equal height are represented in the topographical map in brown in color. The distance between one contour line and the other contour line is 20 meters. All the lines that join the elevation or the height, we call it as contour map or iso map. Likewise, another type of isoline maps is isothermal map. The temperature, wherever the distribution of temperature is there, all wherever 40 degrees temperatures are there, all those 40 degrees places have been aligned and that becomes the isothermal maps, 40 degrees or 50 degrees or 30 degrees. So, isothermal maps are the maps which are having isolines for temperature. At the same time, we have the rainfall also, isoheightal maps. Wherever the temperature, wherever the rainfall is equal, then we generate the isoheightal maps. At the same time, we have isobars also, wherever atmospheric pressure is uniform. We can see the high pressure belt as well as the low pressure belt. These are the different types of isoline maps, like for example, contour map for elevation, isothermal map for temperature, isoheightal map for rainfall, isobars for atmospheric pressure, and there are good number of isolines maps. Now, when we speak about the choropleth maps are the maps which have a data. Choropleth maps are being used initially before the color has been not invented or color propaganda was not there. So, we use choropleth maps. In these choropleth maps, we have chorochromatic and choroschematic also. Now, when we speak about the choropleth maps, we can see that different types of choropleth maps are being used. That means, variations, the gradations are used with the help of broken lines, dotted lines, hatching lines, that is oblique lines, parallel lines, vertical lines. These are the choropleth maps which are being used to distinguish from one density to other density. Likewise, when we speak about the chorochromatic maps, these are the maps which have different colors for each individual category. For example, red color is indicated for one parameter, blue color is indicated for one parameter, green color is indicated for another parameter. So, when we use different colors for each individual parameter or the class interval, in other words to say, then we call it as chorochromatic maps. At the same time, we have another type, that is choroschematic maps. What are these choroschematic maps? It is a map with the same color, different shades are being represented. For example, the low density areas will be highlighted with a light green color, simultaneously medium will parrot green color, and high density population areas will be represented with bottle green color. Example, it is the gradation, color is the same, whereas the gray tones will differ. Thereby, we can easily identify the map which is having low intensity, medium intensity, high intensity, or low density, medium density or high density maps. This can be used by any of the items, and I can say importantly at this point of time, a glance at a map will helps us in generating a volume of book. That means, the text or the tables that are embedded in a map is huge. A glance at a map gives a text or a volume of text, wherein the statistics the tabular column, the numbers or the text are embedded in the map. It is the idea or it is the curiosity of the reader who can interpret. A real best reader can interpret n number of books or n number of volumes. So, this we call it as the importance of maps. The isoline maps we were discussing. Now, we will be discussing about the large scale map. What are large scale maps? What are small scale maps? This is one of the last variety or type of maps which we are going to discuss. What is a large scale map? Large scale map means a map which is indicating the larger details, the more number of details that are represented in the map. Generally, people are of the opinion that large scale map is the huge map, bigger map. No, large scale map are the maps which show larger details and smaller the area. Vice versa, in other words, when we look at the small scale maps, the small scale map will show smaller details and the area will be more. For example, when we consider the India map, it is considered as a small scale map, whereas a mandal map is considered as the large scale map. To be very clear, in urban areas, the ward map is considered as the large scale map, whereas the town map is considered as the small scale map. So, these are the differences for the large scale maps and the small scale maps. So, when we look into the details of the topographical maps, what are the things that are available in these topographical maps, we will see. The topographical maps are prepared by the Survey of India. They are the prominent organization where in the complete India they have the topographical, the surveyed maps. We can even say that the importance of this particular Survey of India, the Surveyor General of India has surveyed the complete area, including the Nepal area where Mount Everest is also there. Mount Everest, the name of the Mount Everest is from the then Surveyor General of India. So, let us look into what are the details that are available in a topographical maps. The topographical maps, we can see the contours, we can see the road lines, we can see the railway lines, we can see the drainage pattern, we can see the canals, we can see the forest, we can see the agriculture area, we can even see the habitation. All the details are available. So, in the topo sheets, when we look at a green color, it is the forest area. When we look at the yellow color, it is the agriculture area. When we look at the blue color, it is the river bodies, drainage pattern or whatever. And when we look at the railway lines, it is black line, dotted line or broken line. When we look at the linear features with red color, it is the roadways. The different roadways, the national highways, the state highways or the pathways are also represented in red color, whereas the habitation is also represented in the red color. So, physical maps, when we speak about the physical maps, all the elevation is represented in this particular map. The 3 dimensional, the Himalayas elevated maps, the mountainous regions, the plateau regions, Indo-Gangetic plain, the coastal plains are all represented in the physical maps. Likewise, when we look into the thematic maps are the maps which have a themes. The drainage is one particular theme exclusively. If it is included in general map, it will be showing very few details, but specifically when you look about the drainage map, we can see that it is considered as a theme map. It is also having the tricanals, perennial rivers and seasonal rivers also. The theme of this particular surface is considered as the drainage pattern, where we have first order streams, second order streams and main stream as well. Contributaries, tributaries are also present in this particular drainage map. We can see the Indo-Gangetic plain, the river Ganges. Before joining the Bay of Bengal, it will be distributed. All the tributaries and the distributors are represented in this particular thematic map. When we look at the population map, we can see that population is divided diversely from North Jammu and Kashmir to that of Kanyakumari. Here we can see very specifically the density of population. When we compare each individual country also, each state, the population of the state can also be represented by different countries. the amount of population that is embedded in it. So, that political map, the scheduled caste maps, the assemblies and parliamentary constituency maps are also there. When we look up at the agriculture map, we can see different types of cropping patterns in this crop renovation, like otherwise crop, what are the crop diversity, yield, all these can also be seen in the agriculture map. And when you look about the soil maps, what are the different types of soils that are present in that particular area. For example, India is diverse. We have red soil, sandy soil, loamy soil, different types of desert soils also, black cotton soil, and the mixture of all soils also can be categorized. So, the soil types are also represented over here. When we look about the geological map, it is a thematic map as well. The geological map will have different types of Precambrian, Cambrian, Ordovician, Silurian, igneous, sedimentary, metamorphic rocks according to their formation. Not only on the surface of the earth, the geological map also indicates the subsurface geology also. Likewise, the drainage map also indicates the subsurface water that is flowing below the surface. So, these are the importance of these maps. Wherever there are different types of geological structures, drainage patterns, they are being represented with these particular thematic maps. And linguistic background maps, we can see that Hindi speaking belt, the Telugu speaking belt, the Tamil speaking belt, the Malayalam speaking belt, or different types of languages that are speaking, we can consider them as regional maps, linguistic based regional maps. Apart from that, we can also generate regional maps with reference to agroclimatic conditions, mesoclimatic conditions, with reference to geomorphology also we can generate regional map. There are different types of thematic map, and from which location we are going to which location, the pathways are also being easily identified to us. For example, the Uber or these people, transportation people, they with the help of the diagram, with the help of the indication, with the help of the navigation, they take us to our destination whenever we say. For example, from Sanat Nagar we wanted to go to Charminar, he will fix the destination from Sanat Nagar to Charminar. Thereby the road indicates, and in this particular pathfinder maps also we can see where are the crowded places also. With the help of satellite data, these things are very much clearly indicated. Wherever there are very much crowded places, we can deviate from that places, we can avoid that particular places. The importance of these pathfinder maps are useful. Likewise, we have the prominent cadastral maps. The cadastral maps are the maps which are useful for the extent, the value and the ownership of a land of an individual. It could be an agricultural land or it could be an individual plot area. The cadastral maps are considered as the large scale maps, wherein the ownership of that particular person is indicated over here. The cadastral maps very much important for the extent, value and ownership of a land. These could be agricultural lands as well as the individual plots. So, the isofin, isostack, isobath, isodopane, isogonal, isohalan and isolimb plats are also important. So, the contours are the elevation maps which we have discussed, isomaps, isothermal, isographics and all these things. Now, we will discuss about the atlas. What is an atlas? What are the different types of atlases we have? Generally, it is the world atlas and we have school atlas. Apart from this world atlas as well as school atlas, we also have different types of atlases. For example, all the demographic parameters are embedded in the population atlas, and we have housing atlas, we have scheduled caste, scheduled tribe atlas, we have agricultural atlas, we have geological atlas, we have likewise all the themes are having different types of atlases. The prominence of the map is that all the offices, take it collectorate, take it mandal office, take it tehsil office, take it municipal commissioner office, even police station, we will have the maps. The area of the map is very much important. The geographical information map plays an important role. Map plays a vital role in various organizations. For example, Census of India, map plays a vital role from the enumeration to the dissemination of the map. For example, when you look all the offices, collectorate office, tehsildars, municipal offices as well as the police stations and all the departments, agriculture department, like geological department, forest department, even the medical department, all these organizations will use maps for their regular use. Apart from that, even for each and every building also, we have a map indicating where to exit in case of emergencies, and where in which floor we are located, and where do we need to go. The direction is also very much indicated in almost all the multi-stored buildings also. Even in apartments also, what are the easiest way to get out during the time of emergencies where fire is in there. Fire extinguishers are also there, but how to save our lives, the maps are incorporated or placed at equal intervals of places wherever people want to escape. The planners, the administrators, the surveyors, the researchers use this particular map predominantly. So, map is very important to an individual or to the organization wherever we use. Map is a tool for a geographers. Likewise, a stethoscope is a tool for medical people. Map plays a vital role in almost all the organizations, be it commercial, be it scientific, be it professional. Wherever is there, maps play an important role. Thank you very much. Have a good day.